Happy Monday, readers. Today is a big day because we are finishing our first unit. So we are going to be working in the module called Deep Study of Character, Summative Performance Task. You heard me right. This is going to be a test grade because today I am going to be looking at your growth from when we very first started this unit to today. So it's very important that you do your best work here, okay? Think about all the things we've been trying out throughout this unit, okay? So go ahead and open up that digital notebook, have your book ready or nearby for afterwards. And then I want you to make sure that you're slanting. So let's just go ahead and get ourselves in a position to be focused. So slanting means we need to be setting up. So go ahead and square your shoulders, set up straight. You want to be listening to what I'm saying. Ask any questions. And then you're going to nod in response when you get it, right? Even if I can't see you, just nod that beautiful head whenever you're like, all right, I get it. I get what's happening. And then make sure you're tracking me while I'm reading, okay? Even if you can't see me, stay with me, okay? So your learning target today is I can write a meaningful response based off of the read aloud. And your essential question to ask yourself is, what is the message of this short story? What's worth paying attention to? And I have a quote for some motivation today. It's by Mark Victor Hansen. It says, "Don't wait until everything is just right. It will never be perfect. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and less than perfect conditions. So what? Get started now. With each step you take, you will grow stronger and stronger, more and more skilled, more and more self-confident, and more successful." So for some of you, I know timed writings is your biggest fear. I'm going to challenge you, just get started, okay? So here are your instructions. You're going to follow along as I read this short story. You've heard it before. It should sound very familiar. Valediction. When I finish reading, I would like you to respond using your best writing skills to this question. So you're going to explain one theme or message of the story. Explain your answer in detail with evidence from the text or story. You know I'm looking for that. You will have the remainder of this class period to complete your writing. You must submit this today. Unless you have an excused absence, and you've emailed me and you've gotten permission, this is due today, okay? And the idea is that it should take you the full class period, about 40 minutes to do this, and it's your own writing. We're not copying and pasting. If you do that, I'm just going to give you a 0 for summative, okay? And the audience that you're writing for will be your peers. So for people your age, okay? So go ahead and let's prepare ourselves for this. So you're going to click on the Summative Performance Task if you haven't already. And I want you to go ahead and open up the story and follow along. And you can make a copy of this if you want to highlight it and make notes, okay? So here we go. Valediction by Sherman Alexie. After school, after football practice, every day for 3 years, John and I walked to the grocery store in our little town and bought candy, potato chips, and soda pop. It was a ceremony. We said hello to the old couple who owned the store, stepped into the walk-in cooler, grabbed our cold drinks, paid for them and our other snacks, and headed to John's house or mine, depending on what our parents were planning to cook for dinner. It was an average life for 2 average kids. But one day, in November of our senior year, John and I, as usual, stepped into the cooler and grabbed our favorite cans of pop. But then we looked at each other, and we both had the same thought. I don't know why it happened. Without saying a word, John and I grabbed 3 six-packs of soda and stuffed them into our duffel bags. Carrying the carbonated loot we paid for our usual junk food, walked to John's house, raced into his bedroom, and celebrated. We drank all that pop and got wound up and stupid on sugar and caffeine. We could have stolen beer, but we were athletes, and jocks did not get drunk in our school. The next morning, we met up before school and vowed to never do it again. One time was kind of innocent, but more than that would be criminal. But after practice that night, we did it again. Then again the day after that, we shoplifted for a week. The thrill and guilt grew bigger each time. We joked and laughed with the old people who owned the store. We paid for $5 of snacks as we stole 20 more. Then I couldn't do it anymore. John, I said, we have to stop. We're going to get caught. They'll kick us off the team. They might throw us out of school. Just one more time, he said. Come on, Pete. They're too old to catch us. I can't do it, man. You've always been a wuss. I walked home alone while John went to the store. I thought he might text or call me after he left the store. I didn't hear anything from him. When I got to school the next morning, I immediately heard the bad news. John had been caught shoplifting. I knew they'd wondered how I was involved. John and I went everywhere together. Halfway through first period, I was summoned to the principal's office. He was there with the superintendent, the school counselor, and the football coach. It felt like an interrogation. Peter, the principal said, I'm sure you know why you're here. Because of John, I said. Yes, he said. Did you know what he was doing? Were you involved? I wanted to tell the truth. I knew that I should confess, but it felt like I'd destroy my life by admitting to the crime. I wondered if John had already told them that I'd stolen nearly as often as he had. Did he do the right thing? Pete, the principal asked again, were you involved in this? No, sir, I said. They all studied my face. They knew I was lying. They wouldn't let me get away with it. Okay, Pete, the principal said. John already told us he did it alone. I could tell they hadn't believed him either, but there was nothing they could do. I hadn't confessed, and John had denied that I was a thief too. He was kicked off the football team, sentenced to community service, picking up litter around town, and was suspended from school for a month. During that month, he and I didn't see each other. We didn't call or text. We'd been constantly together for years, but things had changed. I don't know why he didn't contact me, but I was too ashamed to talk to him. I let him take all the punishment. I kept playing football. I didn't have to scoop up dog poop while my classmates watched. I wasn't suspended, and my reputation wasn't ruined. I wasn't branded as a good kid gone bad. In fact, some people thought John had betrayed me by shoplifting and nearly getting me into trouble. When John came back to school, he wouldn't look at me, and I wouldn't look at him. This silence went on for the rest of the year. We ignored each other at our graduation ceremony. Our parents ignored each other too. Late that night at a party down by the river, we stood at separate campfires. I didn't drink anything, but he got really drunk. I was worried for him. He caught me staring. He threw his beer into the fire and staggered up to me. He grabbed me by my shirt and shook me. You aren't who I thought you were, he said. Neither are you, I said. Okay. So remember what your task is, right? So we finished reading this. So now I want you to use your best writing skills, so proper grammar, spelling, citing your sources, to explain one theme or message of the story. Explain your answer in detail with evidence from the text or story. Remember, you have this entire class period, so this should be an essay, guys. Give me examples from the story. Explain your theme. Remember everything we've been practicing, okay? You're going to try it out on your own now, and that's why we call it a performance task. This is on your own without my help. What can you do, okay? So you're going to click that red submit assignment button, and then you're going to start typing your response. Take your time with this. When you feel proud of the work that you've put in here, you know what I'm looking for at this point. You've seen my comments. You've seen the way I grade your writing. When you feel confident, then you're going to click to submit your assignment. But you know I give you this copy right here because I want to see evidence in your writing, okay? All right, let me see your best writing about this reading. Ready, set, go.